What's up, guys? We are back with another Boss Fight Studios review, and we're taking a look at the first entry in one of their newest lines. We're taking a look at the first figure in the Fraggle rock line, and it's not even a Fraggle at all. We're taking a look at FLANGE DOOZER, which definitely was kind of a surprise to even see that they had the license, let alone that this was going to be the first figure. He's super, super tiny and is very much a different kind of figure than what we're going to get with the actual Fraggles. Now, I do have to talk about packaging because, well, I'm going to talk about it anyway. But I really like what they did with the boxes here. It very much has a vintage Fraggle Rock look and feel. So you've got him there in the window. He's in sort of like an egg carton style of tray, so it looks like a cave in there, which is just an awesome detail. You've got a product shot on the bottom. You've got product shots and cross-sell on the spines. And then the back of the box gives us a shot of Doozer in, what looks like the caves, as well as a bio, and then kind of a loadout for what he comes with. So yeah, let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Boss Fight Studio Fraggle Rock FLANGE DOOZER, the first entry in the line, and of course not a Fraggle at all, but in many ways just as important. These little guys showed up all the time in the show with, all their little creations and the scaffolds that they're building everywhere. And this is a funny little action figure too. It's very, very much its own thing. It's not going to be indicative of necessarily how the Fraggles themselves are going to move, because this guy's only like 3 inches tall. The size comparisons in this video are sure to be ridiculous, but I'm really excited about this one. Muppet stuff is a favorite of mine. I absolutely loved this show as a kid. Sesame Street, Muppets, Muppet Babies. Give me any Muppet anything, really. I love it. And this property, this show, was no different for me. So let's see what this little guy can do, see how he moves around. Again, probably not indicative of the line as a whole, because there's really not a lot to him. I'm going to take his helmet off just so it's not in the way. You've got a ball-jointed head, so he can look up a little bit, down, not much tilt just because of how wide his head is, and then you've got swivel. Arms are, in a way, they're almost sort of pre-posed. He's very 5POA-ish in terms of what he does, but he's not exactly that. It's a little bit different. It's not just swiveling limbs. So he's got hinges in and out and rotation at the shoulder. You've also got swivel at the glove, so that whole piece will move. And then for the legs, they kick forward and backward a little bit, and they kick out really, really good. You've got a little bit of a shimmy up there also. It's just a ball peg. So nothing too crazy. He has nothing at the torso, nothing at the waist. He's one solid piece. I don't know that that's necessarily a bother or a concern for me. This is not meant to be a dynamic action figure. He's meant to be a little green glob that's sitting on your shelf, and I think overwhelmingly it does accomplish that pretty well. Now, this part of the video is where I absolutely blow your minds and say that this figure truly is all about the visuals. And specifically kind of the form factor, the way this is built, the way it's put together, and the way it kind of feels too, because he has a little bit of a texture to him that kind of, looks, if texture can have a look almost, Muppety, if that makes any sense. But I really, really think Boss Fight absolutely nailed this. Muppets have a very specific look and feel and design aesthetic, and I think overwhelmingly that they got it really nice here, and it makes me super excited to see what the actual Fraggles look like. The color palette is really bright and vibrant on him with that yellow, with the green. He's got that lime green body that's kind of a hallmark of the Doozers. He's got his construction outfit with he's got calculator, he's got the rope, he's got his yellow piped gloves and boots. And then, of course, I already showed you can take it off. He's got his hard hat, which I really like because it's kind of the key thing for this guy in particular, where you can't see his eyes and that it covers his face. So all you really see is this big nose and a bushy mustache poking out with the little, hair feelers that are poking down. So this looks really good. It does have some little slots inside that you can use to more line up the the little antenna that are coming out of there. So they sort of sit inside of that, and then you can actually, of course, see his head. And this thing, I'll be damned if this thing doesn't look just like him from the show. I think they really got him. The colors are good. The paint, there's minimal paint on this guy just because of the fact that he's overwhelmingly sort of one solid color. But the paint, where applied, is really clean. No issues to speak of. And again, he has sort of like a texture to him, especially on the torso. He kind of feels... furry's not the word, but I think you might know what I mean. He has a little bit of a texture to give the idea that he would be a little fuzzy or something like that. He is, again, for the 50th time, he's really, really tiny, so this is a very small figure. I mean, I don't have big hands. This is just a super small figure. We will definitely do some size comparisons, but I think the tininess, is that a word, of this figure really plays a factor into just how cool he is for me, because he is so tiny, but that is what he is. They were super tiny little guys, and that's what this is going to represent on your shelf with other figures. Now for some size comparisons, we're going to kind of run all over the place for these. So we're going to start with some smaller figures and work our way up to the more ridiculous. So to start with, we do have a Super 7 reaction figure here on the left, so a 3 3/4 inch figure, which gives you a really good idea of exactly how small this guy is. He's not necessarily going to be to scale to the actual Fraggles, but he's still going to be really small on your shelf. We've got the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Let's do Legions. Here is a Cosmic Legions Oleg Thygar. Let's do a boss fight figure. Here is Range Brachion from the Saurozoic Warriors. Let's do a Mezco figure. Here is Conan. Let's do a Mythic Legions Ogre Scale. Let's do a Marvel Legends Baff. Here is the Controller. And then because I have to include him, here is the Ultimates Monstar. So yeah, I mean, he's completely out of frame, of course, but this gives you a really good idea, a good cross-section of exactly how tiny this thing is. He's only like 3 inches tall, but again, for what he's supposed to be, I'm really happy that he's not like oversized or anything. This is exactly what a doozer should look like on your shelf. Now, as far as accessories goes, our little guy does come with a handful of accessories, and they're all very doozer themed, so you get like, you know, construction, workplace kind of equipment, and he does have, well, I'm not going to say weapon storage, accessory storage. You've got spots on the belt, you've got one on the front, and you've got one on the back here that can accommodate a couple of these accessories, so you don't have to have everything boxed up, because he does only have one gripping hand. So we've got 2 different hammers. You've got like a mallet or like a ball peen kind of hammer, and this is one of the things that can fit in those holes. And then we get another hammer, which is, you know, a more claw hammer style. So you can have both hammers stored on the figure. We do get a wrench. We get the schematics or you know, blueprints that he'll be carrying around. And then lastly, we do get his walkie-talkie. And he can hold all of these really well. Grip is good. My only real thing that I wish would have been included here, I wish there was an extra hand or something. I'm sure we can pop these hands off and just pop a different one on, because he only has one gripping hand. It's not the end of the world. I would have liked to have had that as an option. But otherwise, these are all very themed to what the doozers are, and pretty much fall in line with kind of the stuff I would expect to see for this little guy. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this little guy. I think for the most part, Boss Fight absolutely nailed it. Really, the only thing I would have liked to have seen is maybe some swappable hands, just to give me some more options. But at face value, he moves well for what he is. Of course, you know, he's not a dynamic action figure in the sense that he's super articulated, but he moves well. He's a doozer. I'm not too surprised with what he can and can't do. He looks really good, and of course, form factor. There's a lot to be said about the fact that this guy is just super, super tiny, when that's what he should be. He's not oversized. He doesn't have to scale with every other line. He's a little doozer that's going to look pretty ridiculous in just about any setting you put him in, and I'm excited just for that fact. There is, of course, the nostalgia component here, because this does do that for me. This is a property that I fondly remember as a kid, and it's really cool to get started in many ways with what this line is going to be. So that's going to do it for this look at the Boss Fight Studio Fraggle Rock Flange Doozer. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.